What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to episode 9 of the Oakland Raiders Madden 20 franchise mode. And I know, back-to-back Raiders videos. What's going on? Basically, my uploads have just kind of got a little bit messed up this week. We'll have a rebuild tomorrow. And I had a poll. If you guys check like the community tab or whatever pops up, I had a poll for what other series. I feel like we're about ready to introduce a third series to the channel for Madden 20. I think 3 is a good number. So I gave you guys some options. You could vote. Pink Slips was an option to just strictly do on YouTube. If not, I got some things planned for Twitch because I know I'm going to get the Twitch stream going. But I will say, a little bit behind the curtain, I got a green screen. Just got a dope Elgato green screen. It's like what all the pros use. Webcam, I'm ordering that tonight. I'm going to have some face cam for streams. I know, I just want to do it 100% right. Also, so we could do like long format, realistic rebuilds, like 2 to 3 episodes per team, doing a little bit more in depth. Might be able to get a couple Patreons in, stuff like that for the draft classes because it's going to be a 10-year rebuild. That's leading the poll by a lot right now, and I wouldn't mind having some realistic rebuilds mixed in with, you know, the all-in-one shot, not super realistic, Super Bowl or bust, going all in year 5 type rebuilds that we have a lot of fun to do with. And, you know, there's some other things we can make, career revivals. I had some other poll. But anyway, I want to get a third series going so that we're not just going to be, you know, episode 95 of the Raiders in 2 months' time, and it's just too much work. You know, I'm gonna try and do it for the rest of the summer, having 2 regular rebuilds, like a Wednesday and a Saturday one, like we've been doing. It's a lot of work, and I don't want to get burnt out, if you know what I'm saying. So we are back here for episode 9 of the Oakland Raiders. We have this regular season finale. We have week 16 against the Chargers, week 17 against the Denver Broncos. We need to win both those games and have basically the Browns and Bengals lose one of their next 2 games for us to have a chance, because we are a game behind the Browns and the Bengals when it comes in. So right now the Patriots already locked it up. The Chargers of the West, the Colts of the South, the Ravens of the North, and then you got the Chiefs at 9 wins. Unless they lose out, you know, we probably don't have a chance. But the Chiefs are going to get a spot, and then it is up for grabs between the Bengals, Browns, Titans, Raiders, Jets, and Bills for that final wild card spot. We have 7-7. We can get 9 wins. So if the Bengals and Browns can lose one, we have a chance. I don't know what all the tiebreakers and all that stuff, but we have a chance. And coming out the tails of that very impressive Week 15, better known as 15 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars, a certain tweet got leaked out over the interwebs about Jalen Ramsey. Pop it up here. Come on, C4. Yes, Jalen Ramsey has identified that the Las Vegas Raiders is one of his top destinations. I don't know what his contract stands with the Jags yet. I'm assuming we can actually look at the transactions and see if they have re-signed him. Let's look. I don't think they have. He's entering a contract year. No? Okay, well, there's some of my moves. Moving Josh Allen around, giving Nick Foles a slightly better stats, which because I did that for every team. There's nothing. His contract is still up for grabs. So, do we get Jalen Ramsey? I mean, we highlighted at the end of the last episode the fact that we have 2 first-round picks. Could a first-round pick be enough to get a guy that's getting ready to be out of contract away from the Jacksonville Jaguars? Do we trade for Jalen Ramsey in this offseason? I put the tweet out there. I said, you know, I'm always a GM, paying attention, watching, listening. I think Jalen Ramsey would be a perfect fit for our defense. A cornerstone on the defensive side of the ball. He's going to be everything that we lost in a leader and a playmaker in Khalil Mack. And with the emergence of Garyon Conley, a man that got 5 picks, second in the league right now to Jair Alexander in interceptions, you throw a Jalen Ramsey back there, we have no more Nevin Lawson sees the field way too much. And this guy's an absolute trash can. So you throw a Jalen Ramsey back here, I think that could put this team over the edge. So that's definitely something we need to continue to monitor throughout this offseason. We are here. I've asked you guys about scouting. You guys are pretty much dead on with me when it comes to scouting. We want to look at linebackers for sure. So I've already been, you know, I've been picking here. Looking at some of these linebackers. Nate Landman in Colorado looks pretty good. Outside linebacker, Kenny Willekes. You got Patty Fisher from Northwestern. Terrell Lewis from Alabama. Josh Uche from Michigan. All those guys. Aquara from Notre Dame. More of a 3-4 guy, but still looks, could work in our scheme. Secondary, maybe at corner. We could bring another corner in. I mean, with the Jalen Ramsey news, kind of throws a kink into things because we might just want to look at that. But we definitely want to do our due diligence on at least, the top 10, if not top 12 corners. So that's probably how we're going to continue to spend our XP. I would definitely love, with my Gator bias, a little bit of CJ Henderson on the defense. But at least we're all on the same page from what I was able to read in the comments when it comes to scouting. In-house free agent signings, we did say we'd give Doug Martin a new contract. I didn't say when. I'll offer him a deal right before free agency starts. But I do want to try and hammer on a deal here. Richie Incognito. We'll give him a slight pay raise. He's 36. There's a good chance he retires anyways, but we got him locked up. JJ Nelson. He has been a really nice deep threat for us. So maybe 1.8 and 9.95. There we go. That worked out well. We got two of these guys locked up. I was going to get Mayoa, but I was a little bit disappointed. He pretty much slapped me in the face by not taking that deal. So he's going to have to sit and wait. We also have been sitting on a decent amount of coach XP for John Gruden, 3150. I can't stress enough that OL training boost is usually quite paramount. And look, we get that, and we're going to be very close to being able to spend on DL, linebacker, or DB. I'm going to go DL because we got Mo Hurst. We got Cleveland Furl. So we're going to want to get those guys the most opportunity. We're very close. We should be able to hit that before the end of the regular season. But I can't stress enough, for me, offensive line is always the best XP because it gets for every single position. So we have a huge game here, Week 16, and I still have shivers about the last time we played the Chargers in this series. They smoked us. I think Philip Rivers had like one incompletion the whole game. Their team is stacked. They are very good. They are very, very, very good. And our season's on the line. So, you're going up against that hungry, desperate dog in the Raiders. So, let's do it, man. We got nothing to lose, everything to gain. It's playoff football. Do we want the playoffs or not? Do we want to give the people of Oakland something to remember this team about before we go to Las Vegas? It all starts this week. Oh, AB! Oh, wow. That is how you start a game off. 50. Oh, I think, what are we, one? We're one touchdown away from breaking the record. That was it. Oh, just a perfect throw from Derek Carr, beating one of the best young corners, Desmond King. He's short. We took advantage of that fact that he's short. Mr. Big Chest, what a play, and one of the most dominant seasons a wide receiver has ever had in the National Football League. I told you, we're going for records. I'm going for break records. We're going to break that touchdown record if it's the last thing I do. And we also got to pay attention to that yards record. Oh, get you some. Get you some. Get Philip Rivers out of that X factor. 3rd and 13. Bend, don't break. I mean, they're outside of field goal range here. Let's keep no points off the board. Get over here. Yeah, that's a huge sack. Look at the disrespect that's getting his head. Philip Rivers mentally weak. Now he's going to be like, oh, no, I got to throw even more like a girl. 3rd and 18. He's yet to throw an incompletion. It's either been a completion or we've sacked his ass. We got to get a stop here. Come on. I do not want to see Keenan Allen getting... Oh! That was Micah Williams getting wide open, man. Either a sack or completion. That's what we're dealing with on defense. And it feels like that's what we've been dealing with on defense for the last, 4 weeks. Sack or completion. Ah, come on, Doug Martin. I literally have no one else to go to. You are all we have. And you... Oh, come on. All right, 1st and 10 on the 14. We're actually moving the ball here fairly well. Okay. Okay, Derek Carr. Oh, come on with the fumbles, man. Every time. There you go. And this game's over. This game is over. We're not coming back. The tone has been set. The game mechanics, the surprise mechanics, whatever you want to call it, has been triggered. They don't want us to win. Yep. Sometimes you're a playoff team. Other times, you're one of the other teams.
What the fuck is going on?
Holy, 3rd of the game. Crazy how this is happening all at once. Oh, is that another fumble?
That's what I'm talking about. Sack.
Oh, God. Look out!
Oh, and Antonio Brown in the X Factor fumbles the ball. My mind. I'm having a stroke. And that's the game. The playoffs on the line. Season on the line. Derek Carr throws 4 picks. We have 38 fumbles. And the Chargers win. Most disgusting game I've played all year on this. Maybe the most disgusting game I've ever played, given the implication. You know? Put a little Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Given the implication, that was absolutely horrific. Derek Carr, they got a lot of yards, 425 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 picks. Not gonna lie, a lot of those picks came from me. To be honest with you, I was forcing the ball because we couldn't run the ball. I mean, we don't have a run game. There's no other way to put it. Look, that's 3 fumbles. We had 3. I don't even know if they're going to show any. But Moreau had a big game. AB almost 200 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, 2 sacks for Farrell. Mayowa, Marshall all got sacks. We had no picks. A couple TFLs from Mo Hurst. But I want to see how many sacks. How many fumbles did they have? 3. Derwin James, 3 fumbles. 3, 4, 5, 6 fumbles. And I think they recovered 4, 5 of them? 5 and 2 picks for Casey Hayward. That's not good. Let's go week 17. I only really have one thing up for grabs. I mean, the most frustrating thing is 90% of the results that we couldn't control went our way. Browns lost. Most of the 7-win teams lost. The Bengals did get a win, but if we're sitting at 8-7, we would have everything on the line here in this last week, and we absolutely got destroyed. But the only thing we really have to worry about, or could achieve, is some records for Mr. Antonio Brown, single season records, that is. So for receiving yards, he is sitting right here at 1,700. We're not going to break one, but we could. I mean, there's a chance actually we get, 270. I mean, let's be honest. We're probably be able to get 100. We'll get him up this list just a little bit. Maybe we can knock off C. Hennigan, But receiving touchdowns, he is tied with Randy Moss for the most in NFL history. 1 touchdown will give him the sole leadership of this award, of this record, and we're gonna do it. I'm gonna force feed AB. That's all we have. That's all we have in this game against Denver. I mean, sure, going 500 would be nice. Sure, not being last in the AFC West would be nice. But with how bad our team played, I think. Let's just set our goals from getting Antonio Brown 1 touchdown, and from there we can build out. Oh, Garrett Conley, give me that 6th pick of the season. You remember the first time we played Denver, Conley got 2 picks. See if we can get that today. All right, 3rd and 1. For whatever reason, AB's not in, so the anticipation's got to wait just a little bit. We scramble, B's wide open. Tyrell Williams gets both feet down. Capitalize on that turnover. Put up 7 on the board. Oh, same thing. I don't know why. It almost feels like picks are scripted, but that's the 2nd pick. That's 4 interceptions for Garrett Conley on Joe Flacco this season. That is his 7th of the year. I think he's like Marcus Peters, man. Garrett Conley, a ball hawk. He'll give up a touchdown, but he'll get a pick. Does that make him great? I don't know, but I'll take 7 picks for Garrett Conley. Hopefully, keeps coming. Can we get 8? Can we get 9? Can we get 10 here today? Oh, let's go, AB. Oh, let's go, AB. The record's yours, kids.
I'ma have this whole fucking game lit, spitting with the same wit, and I'm gonna be famous. Ain't nobody able to delay this. Coming up, I had a vision to make it. Never wanted to be nothing, always wanted to play shit.
24. He was at 23, tied with Randy Moss. Gets 24. Now the sole record holder. Most receiving touchdowns in a single season. And the team is still struggling to go above 500. So I guess if you understand the importance of a star wide receiver, it's a star wide receiver. mean you're going to win a Super Bowl or not?
Probably not.
Read and weep. That is the record breaker. For the goal, let's get 25. Mr. Antonio Brown, number 25 on the season, halfway to 50. He pretty much had like a fourth of NFL wide receivers in history. He got their career touchdowns in one season. Simply remarkable. You're witnessing greatness. Let's soak this one in. You're witnessing greatness. And that will do it on the regular season, man. It's Antonio Brown's world. We're just living in it, you know? Did we make the playoffs? No. Did we have a chance to make the playoffs? Yes. Did we have an opportunity to get into maybe a Super Bowl run? Yes. In said opportunity, did we fumble the ball 6 times? Yes. But at the end of the day, did Antonio Brown, a man who probably doesn't give 2 shits about the Raiders, playing for the Raiders, living in Oakland, did we put together the greatest season a wide receiver's ever had? Yes. So does that make this year a failure? Yes. So looking at it, we got 28-21. And the most Derek Carr thing possible, goes out with a super strong final game that gives you hope for the following season. Almost 400 yards on the day, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions on a team that we've absolutely smoked in both matchups that we played this year. We banned the run. It was an AB show. It was, it's a glorified preseason game when you have a meaningless, it was a divisional game against the Broncos. It was still meaningless. So we force-fed AB 11 times, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, which put him at 25 on the year. That 200 yards probably put him in the top 5 for single-season receiving yards. Renfrow had a decent game. Tyrell Williams got 2 touchdowns. He actually, low-key, had a good season for the big money deal that we signed to bring him over from the Chargers, that Mike Mayock signed to bring him over from the Chargers. Renfrow and Morel, though, down the stretch, these were the 2 rookies that I wanted to try and see if they could carve out roles with the team, and I think down the stretch, they did their jobs. I think Moreau is going to be our starter next year, and Renfrow might have had a chance. Well, obviously, he missed, 4 games? 3, 4, 5 games, somewhere in that territory. You take those out, he might have been close to 1,000 yards on the year. He was really good at the slot, really reliable as a receiver. We had Garyon Conley, 2 picks on the year. That gave him 7 on the season, which is really, really good. Don't let that fool you, though. He got burned and smelled like burnt toast a lot of weeks. We got 2 sacks from Mayowa, 1 from Hurst, 1 from Brandon Marshall. Another pick in there from Obi Melifonwu, who I think a guy definitely has earned more snaps on our team. We kind of took him as a flyer. I kind of want him back on the team. He made some plays, 2 picks. He only had 3 starts. He had 3 starts, 2 picks. One of them was a 70-yard pick 6, which we saw a couple weeks ago. I think it was against the Jags. So, there is some positives as we end this season. We're going to wrap it up, do a little bit of a stat recap here. But I think we have a lot to build upon. There's some huge question marks about the quarterback position, depending on who becomes available maybe this year. But I think Derek Carr has done enough to at least buy himself one more season. I think when we take a final look at at his stat line, considering how many games he missed, if he played a full season, we probably would have got 40 touchdowns with Derek Carr. And while in moments that we needed him to have huge games, he would throw more interceptions than it felt like completions. I think he's done enough. There's one more year. But anyways, we'll pop out. We'll wrap this one up and get it ready for the offseason, which will be the next episode. So as the season ends, we had 2 weekly award winners. Derek Carr got AFC Offensive Player of the Week with almost 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he endured 7 sacks. So he stayed in there. Garyon Conley, 9 tackles, 2 picks. Good. It's good, No AB. But the only thing that really matters as we close out the year is the new record holder. You need to check it. So we already know for receiving touchdowns, sole spot at number 1. Beating out the phenomenal Randy Moss from that 07 year with the Patriots. 1987, Jerry Rice, goodbye. Mark Clayton, oh, you thought you had something special with Dan Marino. Sterling Sharp, Don Hudson for the Packers. Oh, that was 9,000 years ago. Got a couple Randy Moss. Let's be honest, Randy Moss is like the greatest wide receiver ever. But now they have to live in the shadows of 2019 and Tony Brown. I guarantee all those teams went deep in the playoffs. Every one of these teams here probably went deep in the playoffs. Went 500. But we still got 25 touchdowns with Mr. Big Chest, Antonio Brown. For receiving yards, came second all time. We almost broke the record. It's the greatest year. It's the greatest single season receiving performance that's ever existed in the National Football League. Now, I guess you could argue he didn't carry his team to the playoffs. What do all those stats matter if they don't have any team success? Which I argue, suck it. You know? AB did his job. He played really, really well. So looking at our regular season stats, Derek Carr, I mean, he worked with us. We missed how many games? I think we missed 6. No, 5. He missed 5 games. So in 11 games, he got 3,200 yards, 36 touchdowns, 12 picks. So if I'm just doing simple football math, he probably would have finished with 4,000 yards, 41, 42 touchdowns, 15. Like he got like an Andrew Luck stat line. And we wouldn't even be thinking about a potential quarterback. We had Tyree Jackson come in for a couple weeks. Wasn't so hot. Glennon was dog shit in the game that he finished out for Derek Carr. So I think we can all pretty much agree that we can't commit to Derek Carr being our franchise quarterback. This year's draft class, we have 2 first-round picks. I mean, we got a lot. We could trade up for a quarterback. We really wanted one if we wanted a Justin Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa. Or we look, maybe keeping one of those first-round picks, knocking on the door for the Jags about Jalen Ramsey, who wants to come as we make the move to Las Vegas this offseason. Or, I mean, next year, there's a quarterback coming out. Not gonna lie, kind of want him from Clemson. You know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to name drop him because I don't want to curse the franchise. But there's a quarterback out of Clemson that I feel like we give Derek Carr one more year next season. If it doesn't work out, we maybe look at a quarterback from Clemson. If it does work out, then we have a franchise player in Derek Carr. How much of all this production was Antonio Brown being lights out? Probably a decent amount, but that's the whole reason why the Raiders made that gigantic gamble to go and get Antonio Brown. But before we look at AB, let's look at the rushing attack. I mean, productive. Look at the yards per carry, 5.3 on average. Get about 5 yards per carry every time we toed the rock. Josh Jacobs definitely would have been in contention for Offensive Rookie of the Year if he would have finished the season, averaging 70 yards. Would have went over 1,000 yards, probably double digits for touchdowns. Doug Martin was pretty good in fill-in duty. It's just, I think we got to spend a high pick on a running back next year. Richard is a nice receiving option. Fumbles a lot, though, as a between the tackles runner. I mean, he's a small running back, 200 pounds. Josh Jacobs, made of glass. I feel like we need to add a third running back, be it Doug Martin takes a new or we draft one in the first 4 rounds at least. For receiving, 91 catches, 1,900 yards, 25 touchdowns for Antonio Brown. I can tell you right now, this is the greatest receiving season we've had, I think, for a franchise on the channel. We utilize the X Factor, man. This is our X Factor. We got shit on by Derwin James with his X Factor, made us fumble it 19 times in our do-or-die win-or-go-home playoff game. We've got sacked countless times by opposing teams' defensive line X Factor. So we took it, but we were able to give it a little bit here with Antonio Brown and just, marvel in this outstanding season. Oh my God, those rack. I mean, he's a rack wide receiver. Tyrell Williams had a pretty success. I think that'd be considered a successful season coming from the Chargers. 50 catches, almost 800 yards, 7 touchdowns. Renfro missed, I don't know how many games he missed, 5 or 6 as well. Still finished 41 catches, 600 yards and a touchdown. J.J. Nelson filled in for Renfro. He got himself a new contract with their team. 7 touchdowns for him. You would assume you can almost carry over a good chunk of those stats given to Renfro when he was filling in. So that's, 800 yards. 6-7 touchdowns for Renfro if he played the full season. Wilson and Moreau both were fairly solid at tight end. I'm not going to lie. Even though we're going with Foster Moreau as our starter, I think Wilson still has a spot on our roster as our second tight end. Offensive line, let's see who gave up the most sacks. Oh, our tackles were dog shit. And considering the big money that they paid for Trent Brown, giving up 16 sacks, I guarantee you that's like one of the worst in the league. Who gave up the most sacks? Donald Penn, who would have been the other starter, didn't look much better. But oh my God, for like $70 trillion or whatever they paid him, that is not good at all. And Colton Miller was much better. Defensively, let's see, we got 104 tackles, 13 TFLs, 4 sacks, 2 picks from Brandon Marshall. That was a pretty good season. He's still out of contract. I feel like I want to get younger, but also that is a lot of production to let walk. I don't know yet. Jonathan Abrams, second on the team, 97 tackles, 15 TFLs, 2.5 sacks as our money linebacker. Probably my favorite player to use on the defense that was on the defensive line. So I think he's kind of carved out a niche. We might have to make the move to linebacker. Have him bulk up, maybe gain 10 pounds this offseason, 215, 220. Can be that Dayon Buchanan type role. Cleveland Ferrell finished 9 TFLs, 51 tackles, 10.5 sacks. So he's probably right in the mix for Defensive Rookie of the Year. 9.5 sacks for Mo Hurst, who emerged as a stud. That is great numbers. 42 tackles, 10 TFLs, 9.5 sacks for a D tackle, especially on a D line that's not really established any way, shape, or form. That's really good. Mayowa, 6.5 sacks. He was pretty good until he pissed me off by not taking our contract extension. Arden Key, 10 TFLs, 3 sacks for Arden Key. That's not bad. I mean, definitely could look at improving that spot. You know, if he can become more so a rotational guy, not a outright starter, that could be the direction we want to go. Garyon Conley finished with 7 interceptions because of the weird tackles and stuff. He might not actually show up on the list. We'll have to see how he compares. Rest of the team kind of lacked a little bit. We were good kicking. Daniel Carlson, young kicker from Auburn, made 93% of his kicks. We shanked one. I remember it. Really good, though. Really, really solid kicker. I think we have our long-term kicker. Johnny Townsend was outstanding as a punter. 51. I'm the best punter on YouTube, so it's clear. 51 yards average. The net was 40, almost 47. We had 32. Almost half our punts were within the 20. So only 2 touchbacks. So, well, statistically might not, make the Pro Bowl or anything crazy like that. We were a beast, and Johnny Townsend, low-key, one of my favorite players. Over 1,000 return yards from Jalen Richard, which is dope. So let's just kind of see how our team compares to the league leaders. So for passing yards, Matt Ryan went off for the yards there. Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, Mahomes, Carr. So look at that, missing way more time than anyone. Derek Carr's season really was something else, man. Averaged the most passing yards per game. I honestly think if we played a full season with Derek Carr, he would have been right up there in the MVP race. Run the ball, Zeke Elliott, 1,700 yards, far and away the best for touchdowns as well. Receiving, AB dominated. I mean, didn't have the receptions that Julio may have had, but most receiving yards by a lot, most touchdowns by a lot. There's a chance he got MVP, to be honest with you. None of those quarterback numbers were amazing. No quarterbacks got over 40, okay? No running back got over 2,000. Like, those are just standard numbers. So, I mean, in reality, Madden's definitely not reality. In reality, if AB did this, he probably 9 times out of 10 he'd win MVP. Is he gonna win MVP in Madden? I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't even make the short list just because Madden got Madden. Shout out to these guys, 4 players that didn't give up any sacks. Defensively, well, we don't have a chance of winning Defensive Rookie of the Year because Devin Bush led the league in tackles, 13. Oh man, that's a big time season there. 20 sacks for Aaron Donald. And he didn't even 20 sacks, and he didn't even play us. For picks, Garyon Conley, hey, we'll take that. Leads the league in interceptions and actually showed up. Beating out Jair Alexander, who had 6 picks. 7 picks for Garyon Conley. That's pretty dope. For kicking, we had the most accurate kicker that actually was a kicker. Well, tied with Justin Tucker, so that's pretty cool. For punting, what about touch in the 20? Pretty close for in the 20, but we had 15, 20 less attempts than anyone else on the list. So I would argue we had the best special teams unit. That's something the Raiders know a lot about. Between Janikowski and Shane Lechler back in the day, we have brought back special team glory for the Raiders. I bet you we have the most return yards. Yes, in Jalen Richard. So our special teams is back on point. So let's look at the yearly award winners. MVP Antonio Brown, no, went to Matt Ryan. Second MVP award for Matt Ryan, and Antonio Brown didn't even make the short list. I wasn't surprised. I was prepared for that, but come on, game. There's probably no way. If AB doesn't even win it, doesn't even crack that, there's no way. You'd have to get 40 touchdowns. Something just playing on all rookie to have a MVP go to a wide receiver. Offensive Player of the Year in the AFC, Patrick Mahomes. He didn't even win that. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And where's Derek Carr? 36 touchdowns? Yet you put Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield on here? Defensive Player of the Year went to Von Miller. The Watt brothers are there. Not a single Raider mate. I'm not going to lie. I mean, maybe Garyon Conley could have stuck on there for leading the league in interceptions, but It is what it is. Offensive Rookie of the Year went to Hollywood Brown, beating out Josh Jacobs, who just straight up missed half the season. Tyree Jackson at 3, Hunter Renfrow at 4, Foster Moreau at 6. So, I mean, our rookies, I mean, that's a lot of Raiders. That's good going forward. Gives us some optimism. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Devin Bush, beating out Jonathan Abram. Cleveland Farrell, who had 10.5 sacks. I mean, that was just ridiculous numbers from Devin Bush. Levi Wallace, not a rookie. Best quarterback, Phillip Rivers. Derek Carr coming in at number 3. I'll take that, I guess. Yet, Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield, all those guys showed up ahead of him on the Offensive Player of the Year shortlist. Weird. Best running back went to Melvin Gordon. You know one. Best wide receiver went to Antonio Brown. Chester Rogers at 2. K. But AB at least didn't get snubbed for that one. Best offensive lineman went to David DeCastro. Rodney Hudson coming in at 4. I'm pretty sure this is just like highest rating, to be honest with you. Like, look, no one's below an 85, really, outside of Pouncey. Best defensive lineman went to J.J. Watt. You had no one. I'm not going to lie. I probably would have put Mo Hurst on there. Best linebacker went to Von Miller. We had no one. Best DB went to Garyon Conley. That's pretty dope. Pretty dope for Garyon. Best kicker, Daniel Carlson. Let's go. Special teams is coming back in a big way for the Raiders. That's dope. So I'm gonna sim just to the Super Bowl, because then that's when you get the big, your next big chunk of experience points to spend, and then we'll wrap up the episode. Looking at the Pro Bowl, look at this. Chris Warren, our fullback, made the Pro Bowl. Cool. I literally think we had 1 catch all season. AB wide receiver 1, so we have 2 Pro Bowlers. Throw in Roddy Hudson, 3 Pro Bowlers. On the defensive side, I don't think we're going to have anyone. Okay, for sure, the best kicker should make the Pro Bowl in Carlson. For sure, he has the most interceptions in the league. Garyon Conley didn't make it, but Kyle Fuller, Denzel Ward, Bryce Callahan, Pierre Desir makes it. That is just blatant disrespect. We didn't make any special teamers, but our fullback made it. So, okay. And just to throw a slap in the face to the Madden devs. Oh, look, I can play the Pro Bowl? Oh my God, thank God I can play the Pro Bowl. I'm going to go ahead and not play the Pro Bowl. So looking at Super Bowl 54, where the Saints defeated the Patriots 32-21, where the Raiders have now successfully completed the move to Las Vegas. We are at the end for the offseason. I'm not going to hold you guys up for too much longer because, I want to jump into the offseason. We got some contracts that we need to talk about. We could throw out, I like Melifonwu. I'd like to bring him back on a 1-year or 2-year deal. Actually, would be pretty nice, and he wants to come back. Who else did I like? Emmanuel Hall. I like that ability. If you want to come back on a 1-year deal, thank you very much. Steven Denmark got a star dev 1-year deal. Come on, thank you. You might be able to play a little bit more this upcoming season. Beyond that, you know what? I'm gonna be a little greasy, and Doug Martin can kiss my ass, especially with that regression. Didn't think you're gonna regress that bad. Luke Wilson was okay. We'll maybe look at bringing him back in free agency. Brandon Marshall was pretty solid for us last year. Want to get younger, but again, he'll probably be near the top of our list for free agency. He was productive for us last season. Worst corner in the league, you gone. Mayoa has regressed as well. I mean, there's a lot of regression here going across the board. Kabinda actually, stat-wise, looks pretty good with the speed and tackling, but I'm not paying $7 million for a guy that's not really going to play. As far as depth guys go, I mean, Bo Benchwell is a scheme fit. So we'll see if he wants to come back. Yes, he does. Posich is a scheme fit, but $1.6 million. That's a little expensive for depth, but we'll get him coming back. That pretty much does it here for us, I think, for at least in-house signings, because all these other guys want way too much money, to be completely honest with you. So we actually got Obi Melifonwu. We got some of these good guys back. Jalen Richard's coming back from injury, which is pretty good. And we're going to get into the offseason and try and make the first year as the Las Vegas Raiders as successful as humanly possible. So what I need from you guys is to continue to pound the table for who you absolutely want me to draft in the 2020 draft class. I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, we'll have the offseason episode come out Sunday. I was thinking about doing a stream. I don't think we're ready for a stream just yet. I might, if you guys really want to see an off-season stream, I can do it. I just feel like, I don't know, too many people will miss it. You know, it's just easier for, at least right now, for the infancy stages of the, I mean, it's the first of many off-seasons that we can eventually do as a stream. But I mean, if you guys really want to see a stream for the off-season, we could do that. But let me know in the comment section, especially who you want me to draft. Thank you for watching the Raiders. I have no idea how long this episode is going to be. I figure it's going to be kind of long because we did the whole stat recap and whatever. But I hope you guys continue to enjoy this series. We got a lot of big opportunities coming as the Las Vegas Raiders. Do we make the move for Jalen Ramsey? Do we pay whatever it costs to get Jalen Ramsey to come over, knowing that he wants to be a part of this franchise? Is he just going to straight up be chilling in free agency? Do we get a quarterback? Who do we draft? We have 2 first-round picks, maybe. This is going to be a very exciting offseason. I'm sure you guys want to come back and see it on Sunday. So thank you for watching. As always, first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.
Money I'm spending, I'm out and I'm shopping. You talking that shit, well you talking the talking. Look at my options, look at me dropping. Ass in the game, like who are you stopping? Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me, not never. I'm way too clever. Look at the